Hey, I'm Jeremy with Austin Film Meet. This is Moranic Moments. I'm here with Lauren Morris. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so just describe what it is you do within the Austin film world.
I'm a musician. I have a recording studio and I do post-audio production for film.
And what do you do music-wise?
Music-wise, I do composition, original music. I do underscore. I record artists for my films. Bring them in for recordings, whether it be songs or just instrumental sections or pieces. I like to say I specialize in sound design, which is a pretty big umbrella, but for me, I do it mostly for horror films. So that encompasses a lot of unnatural textures and sonic sounds and properties and frequencies and things like that.
What is the weirdest sound effect that you've ever had to do Foley-wise? Like, what's the weirdest thing you've ever created?
Well, that would be recording my farm animals and turning them into monsters.
What made you want to do sound for film?
I kind of fell into it. You know, when I came here to Austin, I moved from California and I didn't feel like I was going to be able to produce another record like I had produced in the past because I didn't have my band members. I didn't want to recreate a band, and I really didn't know how to, engineer and produce my own music. And so I sold off all my equipment and that I had brought out with me from California for live performance. I had a huge PA system and all this kind of stuff, and I decided to buy what they call a control surface, and I bought some monitors, and I was just looking for something different to do.
Why is it horror movies that you're gravitating towards?
It just happened to be the first few things that I did, and I just really liked it. I liked the intensity of the films. I like independent film because it has its moments. It can be really, really well done. It can be imperfect, to seriously flawed.
Yeah.
Depending, I like that part of it.
How do you balance doing professional gigs with personal passion projects?
Most of the gigs that I do are passion projects because I become really intimately involved with them, the characters, and I become really devoted and dedicated to making it the best that I can possibly make it. So it seems to me it ends up always being a passion project for me.
That's awesome.
Because I don't want to do a project that's soulless, you know what I mean, and just is like, because with music it's going to sound like that. You can't make it sound, everything transfers to tape.
Right.
And if you don't care, it's going to get to tape.
Do you believe that music, that really awesome music, can revive a dead movie? Or do you think that the movie itself has to feed the music?
Really good music will definitely enhance any performance. And so will mixing, because like for instance in Circus of the Dead, we had two clowns that didn't really speak much, but they did a lot of yelling and a lot of maniacal laughter. And so to be able to go in and process that so it's creates a huge dimension in the film, that's musical to me.
Can you talk a little bit about Circus of the Dead?
Circus of the Dead is, they call it the sequel, I think, to Dollboy. And it's about 5 circus clowns. They work the circus during the day, and they, rape and murder and rampage on their off hours.
Oh, wow.
It stars Bill Oberst Jr., Parrish Randall, and Chanel Ryan. And those are the main characters, and then the other circus clowns, and they're each unique and different. It was a blast to work on.
Do you ever have issues where you find a piece of film and you just struggle with what sounds to put in it and then realize that maybe it's best without sound?
Well, I've had to learn to scale back and, realize that there doesn't need to be, Lauren doing something all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
When do you know when to scale back?
I work on instinct, and it's a puzzle, so whether it's 20 minutes or an hour and a half or whatever, I try to work on the sections that I'm feeling and that I'm inspired to do, at the time. It's completely inspiration. I mean, I'm not one of these musicians that's going to go, okay, we're going to have a jazz theme here, and it's going to be an F sharp minor, and then it's going to go to this, and we're going to change keys, and it's going to be in this tempo, and it's going to be this and that. I don't really work that way. A lot of musicians do work that way, but I don't. I am a melody person. It's all about melody for me. So if I'm doing an actual theme, I'm hearing a melody in my head.
Yeah.
And then I build around the melody.
Do you think a lot of filmmakers neglect sound in music?
Well, yeah, especially young independent newbies.
Yeah.
Because it's a battle I fight because people don't really understand sound, for one thing. They don't understand how it works. It's physics and science and everything else. There's a lot involved.
Right.
They don't understand noise reduction. They don't understand microphone placement out in the field. They're trying to create an environment within their film, right? And so they're going to go and do a shoot, and they do it at wrong times. And it's just business as usual in the restaurant, or it's business as usual at grandma's house, and everybody else in that environment are oblivious to the fact that, they shouldn't start the car up right now, or maybe the generator should be another 100 yards away because you can hear it, in the scene, all these different things. So that's the first thing, is not getting a good field audio person. Huge mistake.
I was reading an interview with Wes Anderson, Austin guy, and and he was talking about how the scoring process is kind of like making an entirely different movie. Would you agree with that?
Yes, like Billy Pond said to me, he says, "You're going to circumcise my baby, aren't you?"
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. And that's really what it is. It's their baby, and it takes a great deal of trust for a new person to hand their film over to that they really care about.
Right.
And it's important to them, because they're trying to get distribution or whatever. To hand it over to somebody that they don't know, that's a complete stranger, to score and do something to.
How has Austin changed you since coming here?
Austin is a place where there is a big spotlight shined on you because there's so many other people that are competing, or colleagues or whatever. And Austin, I think, makes you see yourself for what you are, good or bad.
I completely agree. I do agree with that. I feel like I've done that.
Yeah. Yeah, because, you will make mistakes and you'll act a fool.
Yeah.
And you'll also do very, very good things.
Yeah.
And, Austin's got, its own mentality about it, which you need to fit into. Austin is not the place, in my opinion, that you just come bringing this big game. You really got to kind of have to come to Austin with your game, but you have to be humble about it if you want to survive, because it's a small town and people are going to go like that,
How has Austin helped you as a musician, and specifically as a musician who works for film?
The people were very different for me, the people that I was coming into contact with. Very different from people in Southern California, Los Angeles, anybody that's in the music business out in California. It's very different here. And people's how they do their music, people in bands, the number of bands that are out here, the level of talent. When I think the first time that you go out on a, Tuesday or Wednesday night and you see an amazing musician playing for nobody,
Yeah.
and you're just like knocked off your chair, and you can see that any night of the week. I mean, the level of talent here is crazy.
Would you say like there's more passion like in Austin, like in the performance?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being a female in a very male-dominated industry, especially sound, how has that been for you? What has your experience been like?
Well, my experience is that, people have quickly shown me a lot of respect, and it's just because of, my ears are very well trained, and I enjoy what I do, and I think I'm good at what I do, and I can't say, I just have to say, I've been shown a lot of respect.
Finally, do you have any filmmakers or sound people that you want to highlight? Who should we watch out for?
Billy Pond, yeah.
Yeah, he sounds awesome.
Yeah, if you like horror films.
For sure, yeah.
And if you don't like horror films, I think you should.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Because they're really cool. They really
are.
are, and they're really different.
All right, where can we find you online?
You can find me online at laurenmorrismusic.com, right?
Right.
You can find us on Facebook at Scorpion Sound Design.
Don't forget to check out all the other episodes on austinfilmmeet.com. I am Jeremy. Until next time.